PoBoy Special here. We've got our assault zombie response team Jeep here, and we need to change out the headlight. Now this particular model has the completely sealed unit. You can't replace a bulb, you have to replace this whole unit. We're going to show you how to do it. Coming right up. What tools are we going to need to get this done? First of all, go to any auto parts store. I got this at AutoZone, and we've got the lowest grade. This is Sylvania, and make sure you get the correct number, H6024, for this particular make and model. Now the newer models have the square ones. This is the 7-inch round, so that's what we're going to be replacing, is the 7-inch round. Also, you will need a, some people call these star bits, some people call them Torx, but you're going to need a T as in Tom 15. A T as in Tom 15 to get this job done. I recommend one of these. This is a magnetic tray, so you can put your screws in here so you won't lose them and cuss. And also you will need bulb grease. I also got this at AutoZone. You can get this at any auto parts store. And what this is for, we'll show you when we put the headlights in. First thing we're going to need to do is remove 3 screws. You have one here at the bottom where I'm pointing. You have one here, there's one here, and there's one right here. So when we remove these 3 screws, this chrome piece right here will come out, and we'll get to the next piece. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these 3 screws right here with the T15 bit. Alright, once we get to the point where we've done the last screw, and I'm taking this last screw out, there we go, put it in our little tray. This round piece slides out ever so gently, like so. Now you will want to remember the order is important of how you got this out, because it has to go back in a certain way. And what I'm talking about is, if you turn this over, you'll see that one part is really thick right here between my 2 fingers, and one part is really thin. The thin part will go on top, the thicker part will go on bottom, and you match that bottom screw hole to right here.
And so, that's for this particular year?
Yes, for this particular one. The thin side goes on top, so we'll remember that later. We'll set that over here. The headlight assembly itself is held in by 4 screws. I don't know if we can see these, but there's 4 screws in here, and there's a metal piece, a chrome piece, that holds this headlight assembly on with 4 screws. There's one here where I'm pointing, there's one right here, there's one right here, and there's one right there. So we're going to take those 4 screws out and then remove this chrome piece right here, and that should be all that's holding in that headlight. Alright, once we have the last screw removed, and I will recommend something. If you do not have one of these, this is a most valuable tool. It is a magnet. So when one of those screws goes down in one of those holes that you can't reach, this is awesome to fish it out with. So just wanted to throw that in because we had to do that.
Yes, we did.
And very carefully, you remove this silver part that holds the headlight in. Now pay close attention to how you took it out, because these tabs go in one specific way. It only goes in one way, so you have to pay attention to how you took it out so it goes back in. Alright, now comes the removal of the headlight. The last thing you do is right here where it connects to the headlight assembly is you pull the connector gently off. Keep your hand on the headlight, because if you don't, as soon as you disconnect this, the headlight will pop out. So while I'm pulling...
Also, don't grab the wires, grab the connector.
Alright, there you go. See how the connector is off?
Wouldn't you agree with that?
That's right. And then there it comes out. Now while I've got this out, I want to point out that this is what this bulb grease is for. You put the bulb grease on the new headlight assembly so that this does not happen. See that crud and corrosion on the contact points there? That's what this prevents. Alright, then you take your new one out of the box.
That was a scientific way that you opened that, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's good.
You have to rewind, go back, see how I did that.
Yeah, right.
Alright, so now you take your bulb grease. There's no really scientific way to do this. I've already opened the bulb grease, by the way. And you just apply them on the contacts here. And you can actually be kind of liberal with it, because this will help prevent these contact points from getting all that crap and corrosion and all that stuff on it. So there you go. Putting it back, you got 3 prongs. That prong's going to go on top, and the way you see how the letters are going straight across, and it goes right back in like this, and then you take your contact and you push it back in until you hear it snap, and hold it for just that. Helps hold it in while you get the rest of the silver chrome pieces back in to hold it. So let's get the first one and put it back on. It just so happens that the contact point here, the crease where it comes together, is pretty much right here at the bottom. So I'm going to gently put this in here and line up the tabs with the corresponding holes.
That's got it. So now you can see how it goes in there.
Right there.
And that's just the way all 4 of them look. There's another one right there, and then there's a couple underneath his fingers.
Alright, I'm going to put a couple of the screws in just to hold it, and then we'll tighten it. I'm just going to tighten them by hand, and then we're going to put the tool to it. Alright, once you get that in and tight and snug, not over tight, because what's holding those in is plastic. You don't want to over tighten it and strip it out. That would be bad. So just get it nice and tight and snug, and you can see that it's holding it in now. Last step. Let's put the last piece of right here. It has 3 screws, and we'll be done. I remember we said earlier on this particular model the thin part goes on top. We have here this hole here that lines up with the bottom, and then we will gently place it in like this, line up the hole. I have a B, and let's put the screws in and we'll be done. Alright, same as the others. You want it tight and snug, but not over tight. Just make sure that nothing is loose, nothing rattles, and...
I heard a rattle. I heard a rattle.
Heard a rattle? And make sure your connection is really tight. Alright. And the last check is to make sure the darn things work. So I'm going to go around and turn the headlights on and see if they work.
Alright.
So we'll just, on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1.
I see light. Okay.
Alright, so there you go. That's how you changed that. And there's the other one. This is just a suggestion, something I do. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but this is what I do. If I'm going to go through all this trouble to replace one, I go ahead and buy 2. Once I've got both of them in, I keep track of the one that still worked. And I put it back in the box, and now I've got a spare. But I know that both of these headlights are brand spanking new. They were put in the exact same day. So if one of them goes out later on down the road, here's my spare. So the question is, about how much is all this going to cost? Well, that all depends. You can probably find some of these things cheaper online. I just went to the nearest auto parts store, which happened to be AutoZone, and here's the receipt. And these parts for both headlights, like I said, I replaced both at the same time. Total was $33.98. The little thing of grease was $1.49, might as well say $1.50. So that's about how much you can expect. if you just want it right now and go to the auto parts store at a big name brand. Like I said, you might be able to find it somewhere else cheaper online if you're willing to wait, but that's about what to expect. You saw it here on the PoBoy Special Zombie Response Team Edition.